Human beings are inherently social creatures, biologically wired to seek connection, understanding, and emotional intimacy. Studies in psychology and neuroscience confirm that sharing personal details about ourselves triggers the release of oxytocin, the bonding hormone, which fosters trust and closeness between individuals. Most people experience an almost instinctual urge to reveal their true selves after just a few conversations, shedding the layers of polite small talk in favor of something deeper and more meaningful. For many, this moment of vulnerability is cathartic, an emotional exhale after holding their breath for too long. There's an undeniable relief in finally expressing hidden fears, unspoken dreams, or past regrets to someone who seems genuinely interested. It's as if a weight has been lifted, a silent burden shared. But what happens when this act of trust, repeated over time, leads not to deeper bonds but to repeated betrayal? What happens when every time you let someone pass your carefully constructed walls, they misuse that privilege, either by weaponizing your honesty, sharing your secrets, or simply proving they were never worthy of your confidence in the first place? Most people accept these disappointments as an inevitable part of human connection. They dust themselves off and try again, hoping the next person will be different. But for the Sigma male, a man defined by his independence, self-reliance, and acute observational skills, the equation is different. Through painful experience, he has learned that opening up rarely leads to the mutual understanding he seeks. Instead, it often results in regret, a slow-burning realization that he has, once again, handed someone a weapon they will eventually use against him. This isn't because Sigma males are antisocial, emotionally stunted, or afraid of intimacy. On the contrary, many possess deep emotional intelligence and a strong capacity for loyalty. The issue is that they have seen, time and time again, what happens when they allow someone access to their inner world. The moment they let their guard down, the moment they reveal something real, they almost always wish they hadn't. Below, we explore 6 specific reasons why Sigma males consistently regret opening up, and why every act of honesty feels like a calculated risk that backfires. 1. The brutal awakening, one-sided connections. There's a universal human craving for mutual understanding, the rare and electrifying sensation when two people click on a level that transcends superficial conversation. It's the feeling of being seen, truly seen, by someone who not only listens but comprehends, who shares your values, anticipates your thoughts, and invests as much effort into the relationship as you do. For Sigma males, these connections are exceedingly rare. They don't form bonds easily, and when they do, they commit completely. They remember the details that matter: your childhood fears, your professional aspirations, the small victories you rarely celebrate. They show up when you need them, not out of obligation, but because they've consciously chosen to make space for you in their carefully guarded world. But the painful truth emerges when the Sigma male finally needs something in return. Suddenly, the dynamic shifts. The person who seemed so attuned to his thoughts is now distant, distracted, or dismissive. The friend who eagerly shared their own struggles now offers only surface-level responses when the Sigma opens up. The romantic partner who once thrived on deep conversations now seems indifferent to his emotional needs. The realization is crushing. This connection was never mutual. While the Sigma was investing time, emotional energy, and genuine care, the other person was merely enjoying the benefits of having someone who prioritized their well-being. What he believed was a meaningful bond was, in reality, a transactional arrangement, one where he was a giver and the other person was a taker. This betrayal isn't just about the other person's failure to reciprocate. It's about the Sigma's own judgment. He doesn't open up to many people, so when he does, he expects, perhaps naively, that the other person will value that trust as much as he does. Discovering otherwise feels like a personal failure, a misstep in his usually sharp discernment. 2. Trust is a mistake, not a gift. There's a particular look people get when they realize you've entrusted them with something you've never told anyone else. A flicker of surprise, a subtle pride, as if they've been granted exclusive access to a hidden part of you. In healthy relationships, this moment is sacred. The recipient understands the weight of what they've been given and treats it with care. But in today's world, personal information is often treated like currency, something to be collected, stored, and later used for leverage. Some people don't keep your secrets because they cherish them. They keep them because knowledge is power. The moment you confide in them, they're already considering how that information might serve them in the future. Sigma males, with their heightened observational skills, often sense this shift immediately. The sinking feeling in their gut arrives the moment the words leave their mouth. The person they trusted doesn't cradle their vulnerability like something precious. Instead, they file it away like ammunition. Maybe, months later, they'll use it to win an argument. Maybe they'll casually mention it to a mutual friend to see more in the know. Maybe, in a moment of conflict, they'll throw it back in the Sigma's face as proof of some perceived flaw. The worst part? The Sigma male knew this was a possibility. He likely noticed red flags, the way this person gossiped about others, how they remembered embarrassing details about people who confided in them, their tendency to thrive on drama. But he ignored those signs, hoping this time would be different. And now, he's left with a bitter aftertaste of betrayal, knowing he handed someone a weapon they didn't deserve. 3. Kindness misinterpreted as weakness. One of the most painful lessons a Sigma male learns is that his kindness, often a deliberate choice rather than an innate need to please, can be weaponized against him. In a world where dominance and aggression are frequently mistaken for strength, genuine compassion is often misread as naivety or submission. Sigma males operate from a place of self-assuredness. Their kindness is not born out of desperation for approval, but from a place of quiet confidence. They help others because they choose to, not because they fear rejection. They listen attentively not because they lack their own opinions, but because they respect the perspectives of those they deem worthy. Yet, the moment they reveal their softer side, the moment they show empathy, patience, or forgiveness, some individuals begin to test boundaries. They mistake the Sigma's restraint for passivity, his generosity for gullibility. The co-worker who initially respected his no-nonsense demeanor now pushes for favors, assuming he won't say no. The friend who once valued his advice now takes advantage of his time, treating him like an unpaid therapist. The romantic partner who was drawn to his quiet strength now dismisses his feelings, believing he'll tolerate disrespect because he doesn't like drama. This creates a cruel paradox. The very traits that make the Sigma male a trustworthy and dependable person, his loyalty, his patience, his willingness to give others the benefit of the doubt, are the same traits that invite exploitation. When he finally asserts himself, the reaction is often one of shock. The same people who mistook his kindness for weakness are taken aback when he enforces boundaries. They accuse him of changing, not realizing that they were the ones who misjudged him from the beginning. The Sigma is left with a bitter realization. Some people only respect strength when it's used against others, not when it's exercised as restraint. 4. Vulnerability leading to disappointment. Dr. Bream Brown's research on vulnerability highlights its dual nature. It is a birthplace of connection, but also the source of profound hurt when misplaced. For Sigma males, this dichotomy is especially pronounced. Unlike those who wear their hearts on their sleeves, Sigmas carefully assess others before revealing their true selves. They don't engage in performative vulnerability, the kind of oversharing that seeks instant validation. Instead, when they open up, it's a deliberate act reserved for those they believe have earned the privilege. Yet, even with this caution, the outcome is often the same: disappointment. Why? The pedestal effect. People who admire the Sigma's independence and resilience are often unprepared to see his human flaws. The moment he expresses doubt or fear, their perception of him shifts, sometimes subtly, sometimes drastically. The same traits they admired, his strength, his self-sufficiency, now seem like a facade, and they struggle to reconcile the imperfect person before them with the idealized version they had constructed. The discomfort with depth. Many people claim to want deep connections, but in reality, they prefer the safety of superficiality. When a Sigma male shares something real, a past failure, a current struggle, a deeply held insecurity, the other person may respond with awkward silence, empty platitudes, or worse, a sudden emotional withdrawal, the loss of mystery. Sigma males often cultivate an air of quiet intrigue. The less people know about them, the more they are respected. But the moment they reveal their inner workings, some individuals lose interest. It's as if the Sigma's value was tied to his enigma, and without it, he becomes just like everyone else. The Sigma is left questioning, was I only respected because I was unknowable? 5. The erosion of self. Jean-Paul Sartre's famous quote, "Hell is other people," is often misunderstood. It doesn't mean people are inherently malicious. Rather, it speaks to the way relationships can distort our sense of self. Before letting someone in, the Sigma male operates with a clear, unwavering identity. His decisions are his own. His time is spent as he chooses. His mental energy is directed toward his goals, his passions, his peace. But the moment he allows someone into his inner world, subtle shifts occur. He second-guesses decisions he once made instinctively, now factoring in how they'll affect the other person. He sacrifices solitude, a core need for Sigmas, to accommodate someone else's desire for constant connection. He absorbs their problems, their moods, their crises, until his own emotional equilibrium is disrupted. This isn't to say that compromise is bad. Healthy relationships require give and take. But for the Sigma male, who thrives on autonomy, the trade-off often feels disproportionate. The most painful part? He misses who he was before. There's a haunting nostalgia for the uncomplicated clarity of his former self. The version of him that didn't have to justify his need for space, that didn't feel guilty for prioritizing his own peace, that didn't have to dilute his identity to make room for someone else's expectations. 6. Unreciprocated loyalty. Loyalty for the Sigma male is not a casual commitment. It's a conscious choice, a silent vow to protect, support, and stand by those few who have proven themselves worthy. But too often, that loyalty is met with indifference. The friend who calls only when they need something, yet is mysteriously unavailable when the Sigma needs support. The partner who expects unwavering devotion but hesitates when asked to return even a fraction of that effort. The colleague who benefits from the Sigma's discretion but spreads gossip the moment it's convenient. The Sigma realizes, too late, that he was never a priority, just an option, a reliable backup plan, a steady presence taken for granted until he's no longer there. And so he withdraws, not out of spite, but out of self-preservation. Conclusion: the Sigma's resolve. The Sigma male walks a delicate line between solitude and connection, not out of arrogance, but out of necessity. He is not inherently cold or doomed to a life of isolation, as many often assume. Rather, his caution is a result of lived experience and a deep understanding of the emotional cost of vulnerability. For the Sigma, every moment of openness feels like handing over a fragment of his identity, something hard-earned, deeply personal, and impossible to replace once lost. Trust him is not a casual exchange. It's a calculated risk, a wager that could either lead to meaningful connection or quiet devastation. But make no mistake, Sigma males are not incapable of connection. They are simply highly selective. They understand that not everyone deserves access to their inner world, and they refuse to let just anyone walk through the doors they've spent years building and guarding. However, for those rare individuals who prove themselves through consistent action, not empty words, those who honor loyalty, authenticity, and depth, the Sigma male will slowly, deliberately allow the walls to lower. His defenses are not made of stone, but of discernment. They are not meant to imprison him, but to protect the rare treasure of who he truly is. And when he finally lets someone in, it's not out of impulse. It's because he knows they've earned their place. His silence, his distance, and his reserve are not signs of indifference. They are signs of value. Because what lies behind those walls is not just trust. It's everything. Do these ideas resonate with you? If you found yourself nodding along or reflecting deeply on the traits and experiences we explored in this video, I'd love to hear your thoughts. The Sigma male mindset isn't often talked about openly, and your perspective, whether you identify with it personally or have encountered in others, adds valuable depth to the conversation. Drop a comment below and let me know, which part hit home the most for you? Have you seen these traits in yourself or someone you know? Your insights help build a community where authenticity and growth are prioritized over popularity and performance. If you're drawn to this kind of introspective, no-nonsense content around Sigma males' psychological strength, emotional intelligence, and high-value living, there's more waiting for you. Explore the other videos on this channel for deeper dives, actionable insights, and raw truths that cut through the noise. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay sharp, stay grounded, and stay unapologetically real. Until next time.